It's Wulf, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys my entire cassette collection as of early to mid 2024. So this video was inspired by another video that I saw recently from Westlife, where he talked about camcorders and how, because camcorders are kind of becoming a popular retro thing, there's a lot of fake ones for sale. And long story short, it had me thinking I own some actual camcorders that I know are real because like my parents bought them when they came out. And so I was like, what can I use one of these to make a video for? And I figured, hey, I could make a video about cassettes because that's kind of appropriate for camcorder recording. So this camcorder that I'm using to record this video is actually a Panasonic Palmcorder IQ. Belonged to my dad. He recorded a ton of stuff on it when I was younger. And it actually doesn't fully work anymore. I'm recording this using the video output of the camcorder because if I try to put in a real tape, the camcorder will shut itself off. So I don't know totally what's wrong with it, but it still works enough for this. The audio is recorded separately though, so the audio is not from like the camcorder's microphone or anything like that. And also, when I was setting this up, the camcorder shut itself off a few times because I think it thinks it's idle because it doesn't actually know it's being used. So I'm gonna try to like avoid that or maybe make it into multiple takes. But I'm actually gonna open the cassette door, because there was a thing that kept blinking on the screen about that it needed a tape inserted, and I noticed when I opened the door it didn't do that, and otherwise it was still working fine. So maybe having the door open will keep it satisfied to not turn off. But anyway, on to talking about cassettes. So I have a box of cassettes. There's not that many. I have under 30 probably. I've collected them for a while. I haven't really bought any recently though, because I have a couple cassette players, but it's just kind of hard to get cassettes to sound good and to like get a player that's not broken because they all rely on belts and stuff and they always break. And yeah, anyway though, I found some ones recently that I just got, and I figured like, hey, video. Anyway, so first one here is from Bully. It is Lucky for You. It is sealed. A bunch of these are sealed, as you guys will probably notice throughout the video. I just haven't opened them because I haven't really listened to any cassettes in a while. But Bully is an artist. It's one of these kind of Panic at the Disco type situations where it used to be a full band, but then now it's just one person. So they make, I think, like indie pop music. I haven't listened to any of the cassettes that I got that are from Bully, but I listened to like one of the songs online. That's kind of what it sounded like. So like I was saying, I have two other Bully cassettes. Let me grab those. This is actually the first one that I saw, and it was, it's two covers. It's About a Girl and Turn to Hate. About a Girl is by Kurt Cobain, I think, and then Turn to Hate is by Orville Peck. So covers of those songs by Bully. This one is kind of interesting. It's sort of like a single. It's hard to see in my own. I don't really have a great viewfinder. It's sort of like a single. It's got two songs on it, and it's a purple cassette, which is kind of cool, and sealed also. And then the last cassette that I've gotten from Bully recently is, what was the name of this one? Losing. And I don't really know much about any of these because I haven't really listened to any of them, like I said. But another sealed cassette. I actually got a really good deal on all of these. These were all priced, all three of those were priced at 50 cents each, but because of my employee discount stuff, I actually got them for cheaper than that. So, but even at 50 cents each, that was a really good deal because on Amazon, I think, and other places online, these are still available, but they're like $10 each, which is more of a normal price, but still, that's a really big discount. Then, let me show you guys a pretty cool one. So I have this box here. There is a cassette inside of it, and it's a really unique one that I don't know if it's actually worth anything now, but it's just it was a limited edition thing, and I got it like I got good timing with it pretty much. So it is actually Spirit Phone from Lemon Demon. So Lemon Demon, Neil Cicierega, I don't remember exactly how you pronounce his last name. He's one of these dudes that's been on the internet doing a ton of stuff forever. And in particular, Spirit Phone is an album that he did under the moniker Lemon Demon, and it has to do with a lot of like cryptids and stuff like that. Really good music, even though the subject matter is kind of goofy, and that's sort of what makes it so much fun to listen to, especially if you're into cryptids or like conspiracy theories, stuff like that. It pokes fun at that stuff, but also like still takes itself seriously as an album, so it's a fun listen. So this is another recent acquisition. This is 12 Inches of Snow by Snow, and Snow is a Canadian reggae artist who had a really popular song, Informer, forever ago, And that song was kind of like a meme between my dad and I. Like, we would play it in the car and stuff, like unexpectedly, or like when he would listen into my radio shows, sometimes I would play it, or like he would request it, stuff like that. So the whole album, though, I actually got this in Spain, which is wild because this was sealed when I got it, and it looks like it's just like a normal American copy of it. I don't really know how well the camera's going to pick this up, but it looks like it's a copy from the US, but it looks like, I don't think they ever re-released it or anything, so far as I know. So this might be like an original one from the 90s or something that just never got opened. Had to restart the camcorder there. But so what I was saying about this was I got this in Spain. It was sealed. I don't think they've ever re-released it, so it appears to be an original one from like the 90s or whatever when that album came out. And it was just weird. I went into this store when I went to Spain, because when I was in grad school over in England, I talked about it a little bit. There's a better video about it on Quentin's Video Emporium where I show actual video of it. I went to the island of Majorca in Spain because I found a cheap flight. And one of the things that I did there, found a record store. It was called like Discos Locos or something like that. And I went in, and over there they have that thing, what is it, the Sesta or something like that. I don't remember the exact word for it, but it's pretty much like the afternoon break, and a bunch of stores shut down for like 2 or 3 hours. And so it was like 2 p.m., and I'm not used to places having that. So I was like, oh my God, everything's shutting down for like 3 hours now. And I got to the store like right before they closed for that, and I went and wandered around real quick, saw that, and was like, oh, I need to own that. So I bought it. So it's just really cool to have. Next is Candy Cigarettes, and if I'm remembering right, that's the album and the artist name, so self-titled album. I'm not really sure what type of music they make, but this is one of the quite a few cassettes that I got through the music, like non-label Kill All Music. They shut down since I got this stuff. They shut down a while ago. I think this appeared in one of my unboxing videos I did back during the pandemic where I ordered a bunch of stuff. I ordered a bunch of cassettes from them because they sold cassettes, and they do some really cool stuff with their cassettes. Like this one, if you guys can see, it has Candy Cigarettes like written over and over on it, and it's also red. And there's the Kill All Music symbol down in the corner. But yeah, they did a lot of cool stuff with cassettes back before they shut down. And so when they shut down and everything was on pretty much ultra sale, I ordered like every cassette that they still had in stock. I think I ordered literally everything on the store that was still in stock, because you could do that for like $30 when they were shutting down. That one's still sealed. Haven't listened to it. Someday it'd be kind of nice to get back into doing like CD and cassette reviews, but I don't know for sure if I will, because I don't know if it really fits the channel anymore. Then here's kind of an odd one that is still sealed. So this is Tame Yourself. It's a collection by PETA. Really strange purchase for me to make, but it was 25 cents, and it was sealed. And again, sealed cassettes, I mean, they're not as rare as you might think, but it was just such a weird thing to find this PETA music collection. The only band that I recognize on here is the B-52s. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but yeah, they're track, what is that, like 4? They have a song on there, and that's the only band that I recognize on there. The other funny thing about that was the place that I bought that from had like 10 in stock, so somebody probably had them in a closet somewhere and forgot about them and then like sold them to that store. I haven't listened to it because it's still sealed. And I mean, I don't know, PETA kind of mixed opinions in general. Like the whole world kind of has mixed opinions on PETA, I feel like, but yeah. Then we got another single, New Kids on the Block, Step by Step. I think I got that one time when I was shopping with my dad too at like a, oh God, I almost said a charity shop. I'm still in British English mode sometimes, at like a thrift store. And it's got Step by Step, and I think Valentine Girl is the other song on there. Yeah, Valentine Girl. They're both pretty good. New Kids on the Block was very famous for a reason. And it was one of the earlier cassettes in my collection, I think. It was like one of the first 10 that I owned. Next, we've got a more modern, newer album. It is Pray for the Wicked from Panic at the Disco. That one is also still sealed. I don't remember where I bought that one, actually, which is kind of weird. Normally I remember that type of stuff. It was probably at like a music store that sells mostly used music that I just refound it at. So what I was saying about Panic at the Disco and Pray for the Wicked is this album came out not that many years ago. It was a couple years ago, but it's newer. Panic at the Disco, like Bully, just Brendan Urie now. It's not really actually a full band. Panic at the Disco, I don't know. I feel like they've kind of, I don't, like, people have weird opinions on them, I think, sometimes. It's one of those bands that, like, some people like their newer stuff, some people like their older stuff. I kind of like everything that Panic at the Disco's done. I don't think I've ever listened to this album in its entirety, especially because this cassette of it is sealed, but online streaming and stuff like that, I think I've listened to this, like, songs off of this album before, and there's some good ones, actually. Look at the back of the cassette here. I'm trying to remember. There's it doesn't have really the track list here, and I can't really see it through the viewfinder. Let me see. Oh, apparently somebody paid $8.99 at some point for it. That might have been me. I'm not totally sure. Oh, High Hopes is on this album. I remember that one. And Hey Look Ma, I Made It. So, yeah, I've listened to some of the stuff off of here. Got a bit of an older one. I think I got this at like a record sale thing one time that was happening. It is Appetite for Destruction from Guns N' Roses. At the time, I thought that was cool because I was like, oh my god, Guns N' Roses cassette, that's so classic. But it's really not that hard to find this album on cassette, I don't think. Next is one that I specifically remember I found at Goodwill. It's Beethoven music, performed by the Philadelphia Orchestra. This is not normally really the type of thing that I would buy, but I remember buying it because I'm pretty sure it was the first sealed cassette that I ever saw out in the wild that wasn't like a new album, and it was really, really good condition. I mean, this came out, though, does it have the year on here? It doesn't have, or no, yeah, it does. It says copyright 1986. I don't know if you guys can really see that, but I don't know if this cassette is actually from 1986, but if so, it managed to survive for like 30 years until I bought it. And sounded great, because, I mean, I had never really listened to before or anything. And, I mean, I guess, you know, Beethoven's still famous all these years later for a reason. Then another cassette that's a little bit older, actually. This one says it's from 1990 specifically, if it'll show up. Phantom of the Opera with the original Canadian cast. I got this at... There was this one weird store I wandered across this one time that it was like this dude bought this, like, store stand that had a ton of just junk in it already, and then he bought like even more junk and then was selling it for like $1 a piece. And I don't really know what his whole goal was, but this is one of the things that they had there. I also got a copy of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas there for like $1. This is Phantom of the Opera. Phantom of the Opera, despite being opera and not super old, but like a little bit older, really, well, actually, when did Phantom of the Opera originally come out? I don't entirely know. Despite being an older like album and kind of a type of music that I think not a ton of people my age listen to, for one, opera is actually pretty good. Like, it's kind of one of my weirder like music likes, but I actually kind of like opera. And Phantom of the Opera has some bangers, man. Like, if you have never seen or listened to Phantom of the Opera, you should, because there are some good songs on that soundtrack. Here is another Goodwill purchase. This one's a little bit different. It's not music. It is Guy Noir radio stuff. This is kind of like a radio comedy thing, like a audio comedy thing. I remember listening to this a little bit, and either my cassette player or that cassette in particular were like damaged or something, and it sounded really bad, so I didn't really listen to it very long. But it's a comedy where there's like this PI, and like, if you think of just general noir stuff, but like comedy noir stuff, it's that. As I'm going through all of these, it's making me realize just how many cassettes I own. This box is bigger than it looks. So next is one that I did a cassette review on. I think it might actually be like one of the most recent cassette reviews that I've done, because this got sent to me as like a bonus when I ordered all that stuff from Kill All Music. It is ROM, and it is a really long album name. Hang on, give me 1 second, I will read it. I forgive you and the anvil you snagged on your way up from the harbor and back. If you knew that I knew what I lacked, I'd be unbidden. Weird album. I remember in the review that I did of it, I didn't really have anything negative to say about it, except for that it's very experimental. So if you're like buying it to listen to normal music, it is not normal music. It is very experimental. However, if you're looking for experimental music, it's kind of interesting. There's like some unique sounds that I kind of had to figure out, like, I wonder what that is. And there's this one sound that I remember hearing a bunch that it kind of sounded like somebody dropping a marble on a table and the marble sort of bouncing. So like, that was kind of interesting. Then there's another Kill All Music cassette. It is Aw Man Oh Dear. And if I remember right, this is another self-titled album, so the title of it is actually Aw Man Oh Dear. I ordered this because they actually, All Man Oh Dear has a really good song on one of the Kill All Music compilations. I think Kill All Music only ever did one compilation, but it was the, like, Now That's What I Killed Music 2017 or something like that. And they had like a song from a bunch of different artists that worked with them, and All Man Oh Dear was one of them. The song they had on there, I liked it a lot. So when eventually I was buying a bunch of stuff from Cam before they shut down, this is one of the things I bought. Still sealed, so I haven't listened to it. A lot of the stuff from Kill All Music, if I remember right, came with Bandcamp codes too, though. So like you got a digital copy of it too, which is like semi-common with cassette releases now. A lot of the times they have a digital code, but like weirdly enough, a lot of the bigger artists don't do that. So mixed opinions on that, I guess. But yeah, All Man Oh Dear is kind of a, they've got a good sound. Then yet another sealed one. I actually bought this. This is kind of a fun story about this one. This was Killswitch Engage's Atonement. And I bought this the day I graduated from undergrad. After I finished my graduation ceremony, my mom and I, we were like already in the city, and we were like, oh, what are we, like, is there anything else to do today? Because the graduation didn't last all day, it lasted forever though. And we went and got some really good tacos, and then there was a music store that I wanted to go to. So we went to the music store, and I asked the dude at the counter, I was like, I wanted to listen to something like kind of heavy metal-ish for some reason. And I figured, who better to ask than the guy working at the record store? So I asked, I was like, what's something that's like really loud, but I probably haven't heard of before? And he came up to me with that cassette and another one. Yeah, it's heavy metal stuff. I really haven't listened to much of them at all because I have the cassette, but it's sealed. I've looked up some of their music online before, but haven't really listened to it as much as you would expect for me owning a cassette from them, so I should. They have a following. They seem pretty good. I do like what I've heard from them. And then Varsity, which I believe that this is just Varsity, the album. But yeah, Varsity is another sort of indie band, and I actually bought this from them in person the first college that I went to for undergrad, despite the very many issues with it. One of the cool things that they did do there was they had a lot of music stuff, which was kind of weird because it was out in the middle of nowhere. But Varsity came and performed one time, and since I was at the radio station there, I like helped set it up and stuff, and I got to meet the people from Varsity, and I bought some of their cassettes because they had brought them with them. And Varsity has a really cool sound. You've maybe heard them before because one of their songs went viral a couple years ago. I believe it was So Sad, So Sad, which one of these cassettes that I have has that on it. They're good. I like them a lot. I don't really listen to a ton of like indie pop and stuff, but I do like Varsity quite a bit. Since I was already mentioning Varsity, let me go ahead and show you guys the other two cassettes that I have from Varsity. So next one is Thanks for Nothing from Varsity. And is this the one that has, it doesn't have the track list, but yeah, I don't really have a lot else to say, so I'll just show you guys the other Varsity cassettes. Like I said, Varsity, cool band, you should check them out. They've got all their music online for the most part. I also own like a CD or two from them. And then this is Parallel Person, which, yeah, it must be, I think it's Thanks for Nothing that has So Sad, So Sad on it. Or maybe not. Maybe none of those have it. It might be that CD that I have that has that song. Anyway, those are the other two Varsity albums. Next, the Best of Culture Club. Culture Club is another band that's a little bit like before my time, but they do have good music. The main reason how I know about Culture Club is Karma Chameleon was in the soundtrack for Saints Row 2. I think it was Karma Chameleon. That was like an interesting song choice for that game. And I think my dad liked Culture Club too, I'm not sure. He had at the least heard about them. I actually had a video about this cassette a while ago on the channel. I think I've since unlisted or deleted it. Oh, here's another one that I bought from the band in person. This is Baby Only You and I from Anemone. And they were another band that performed at that first college I went to before going to Vanderbilt. And yeah, they are from Canada, if I remember right, but I think they're from Quebec, so they're like Quebecois. They got like fun accents. And they're also pretty good. They're similar to Varsity in being sort of indie music. Next is another sort of classic one. He's the DJ, I'm the rapper from DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Fresh Prince is Will Smith. I'm surprised sometimes with people like don't know that. But yeah, this is one of the earlier albums from Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff. And it's really good. I like it quite a bit. It's got, the only problem with it is it's got like too many songs on it. And a lot of the earlier songs on this album are good, but they kind of get like worse as the album goes on, which feels weird because like Will Smith is one of my favorite rappers. Like I really like Fresh Prince stuff, the show and the music. But yeah, and I got this for like $20 on Amazon or something. This is one of the few cassettes that I've bought used alongside that like Guns N' Roses one, but it was in like really, really good condition. It still kind of is, although I don't think I've really always stored it as well as it should be stored. Next is a more recent one. This is from Metro Boomin. It's Not All Heroes Wear Capes. And this is one of those albums that I feel like a lot of people probably don't know even came out on cassette, but it did. I remember when they were promoting this album, I like looked on Metro Boomin's website. Like if you want to collect cassettes, a good way to get them is if there's an album coming out, go to that artist's website, because a lot of the times that's where they'll sell cassettes. Sometimes like the website for the label, if the artist is signed to a label, also will have them, but that's where you're gonna have your best luck finding. They do sell out kind of quick, I think, at least for some albums, and they can be kind of hard to find afterwards unless people are reselling them, and then when people resell them, they're usually way more expensive. So anyway, this is a rap album, but it's a producer album. I don't remember if I ever did a review on this or not, but it's Metro Boomin is a producer, so all the songs are produced by him, but they have different features from different rappers. I really like producer albums because of that, because alongside showing off the skills and the work of the producer, a lot of the times they add like a compilation too of different artists, which like of different rappers, which is really cool. So I think it's cool. This one I remember has some really good songs, and it was pretty popular when it came out. Don't Come Out the House. I remember hearing that one a lot on that album. So next, this is Crockett Songs for the Forgotten. I actually didn't pick this one out. Kill All Music had a thing on their website where you could get a random mystery album, and when I had ordered some cassettes from them for like the very first time ever, I had done a mystery album. It took a while for me to get this one though, but this one is, I think this one's kind of experimental also. I don't really remember that much about it. I listened to it like one time, wasn't super into it because it just didn't, it was one of those things where it was just a lot of like sounds more so than like discernible music, which sounds mean. I don't want to be mean, but yeah, more experimental and very like, I don't know, aesthetic, I guess. Like soundtrack more than like anything. Then there is Purgatory from Occam's Laser. This is a like death synth album. It's one of these like really hardcore synth albums. Unfortunately, this is one of my few cassettes that's been damaged a little bit. That was my own doing. It came in perfect because I got it new. This is another Kill All Music one. This is one of the first Kill All Music ones that I ordered, and it's really cool. Like hardcore synth is really fun to listen to. I don't listen to it a lot, but I like listening to it, and I should listen to it more. Then there's The Fast Feeling from Pulses. If I remember right, I always get it screwed up, which is the band name, which is the album name for this album. This one is another kind of pop. Like, it's not really even indie pop. This one's just sort of like pop music. It's good. It's like fast-paced. This was another one of the first ones that I ordered from Kill All Music. So this and the Purgatory from Occam's Laser, I just thought it sounded really interesting. I think I might have a review of this somewhere on the channel, but like, I might have delisted it or deleted it or mean to delist it or something, because some of those older cassette reviews that I did were just not very good. But this is another really cool album, fun listen. Then Volume 4, Slaves of Fear from Health. Health is awesome. Health is probably my favorite band, like multi-person act. And this is a really good album from them. This is the first album that I got from them. I have two others, if I remember right. I think I have the first release they ever made that I found a promotional copy of at a used music store one time. And then I also have that collaboration album they did. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but they have a collaboration album that has like all their collaborations they did. There's some really good ones. Health is really good at collaborating with other people in particular. But they also did the Max Payne 3 soundtrack. That's where a lot of people know them from. They have some songs in Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah, they are a really, really cool band. Their social media is fun and funny and stuff. I wrote like a whole essay about them one time in college and got an A on it. I got a thing published on a blog for one of the radio stations at my undergrad at Vanderbilt, and yeah, about them, and yeah, they're really cool. Awesome band. Noise rock, by the way, that's their genre. Then we've got Trench from 21 Pilots. It's kind of funny because this is actually the second 21 Pilots album that I own. I don't remember buying this, but I own this Trench from 21 Pilots. The first cassette review, first music review, one of my very early videos on this channel was actually a cassette review of Blurry Face from 21 Pilots, which I have coming up in the pile. Trench was Trench their next album? I think Trench was their next album or their album after Blurry Face. I don't entirely remember. It sounds different than Blurry Face, and I don't think it gets as much love as it deserves. I thought it was really cool. I love the art direction they did. For some reason, yellow and black is just, it feels like a really unused color combination. I love stuff that looks like taxis. There's some cool songs on here. I don't think I've listened to this before, though, the entire way through. Then the 1981 extended play from I Don't Know How, But They Found Me. This is not actually from 1981. This is from 2016, 2017, 2018, sometime period in there, maybe 2019, sometime in the late 2010s. I did a review of this album. They're a really interesting band. If you want to learn more about this, it's not really even an album. If you want to learn more about this EP, you can watch the review video that I did of it. It's really interesting because one of the guys from this band was in Panic at the Disco. I don't remember if he was like a permanent member or like a touring member or whatever. So their music sounds sort of Panic at the Disco-ish. Like there's a lot of overlap between fans. They had like 2 songs that came out of nowhere. Did awesome on YouTube, at least with the music videos that they had for them. And then I've like not really heard that much from them. They still make newer music, but they kind of dropped off the radar a little bit, which sort of sucks because they have a really like unique sound and image that they go for. Next is It's an Album from 21 Savage. This is sort of 21 Savage's like breakout album. This is the one, it's got, what was that one song? I remember the 1, 2, 3, 4 M's on my bank account. Yeah, it's Bank Account. This is his album that kind of was like the first one that I think a lot of people heard about 21 Savage from, because mainly that song and like some other ones. It's pretty dang good. Even though this is sort of when 21 Savage was, I mean, he's not really much of a mumble rapper exactly anymore, but this is when he was kind of more in the mumble rap game. But it's good. I like it. I remember listening to this like a handful of times actually on cassette in undergrad, like doing work and stuff. This was one of the first cassettes that I ever reviewed on the channel. That was one of the first videos on this channel to ever hit like 1,000 views. A lot of people I remember asked me in the comments where I got this, and I got it on like Amazon when it first came. This is actually the first cassette of my own that I bought. But yeah, I remember I was in high school, and I had like a ton of free time on my hands because I think I had just like finished college applications and a bunch of other stuff, and I was like, I need a hobby. And so I bought a cassette player on Amazon, and I bought this cassette on Amazon. And unfortunately, though, the cassette player sucked. Actually, I have it sitting right over here. It's dusty, so pardon the dust. But it's this cassette player right here. It's a radio, too. Now, the radio function of it actually works really well. This thing is solidly built. It's got 2 speakers. It's got stereo and everything. But the cassette player in it sucks. It plays everything too fast, and there doesn't seem to be an adjustment knob for it. I have nicer cassette players since then. But yeah, this is also a good album, by the way. This is the last cassette that's in my cassette box. It is Midnight Method from Jazz Spastics and Mellow Soul Black. This is a really cool album, the way they designed everything. Let me put it that way so you guys can actually see like the art. Actually, this camcorder has zoom. Look at this. Isn't that cool? So yeah, this is a collaboration album between Jazz Spastics and Mellow Soul Black. I remember doing a review of this a while ago. Didn't really know what I was talking about. Didn't really know what I was talking about with any of the music reviews that I did, so that's part of why I stopped doing them. This is a cool album. This is sort of an old school hip hop album, even though it's like relatively recently released within the past like 10 years. But it's very chill, like lofi hip hop beats to study to type of thing. It's cool. You should check it out. I remember I got this album, and it was actually pretty dang expensive. It was only like $10 for the album, but then it was coming from like England, and so the shipping on it was like super expensive. And then I remember I like complained about it on Twitter, I think, and then Jazz Spastics were like, we can give you a free album if you want to make up for the shipping costs. And I was like, no, it's my own mistake. But yeah, it was kind of a funny interaction. I think they still follow me on Twitter actually too. Yeah, solid album. Jazz Spastics are very cool. I remember like Techmoan listened to some of their stuff, and I don't know if he still uses their stuff, but like he used to like show some of their stuff in some of his videos, if I remember right, to like test out cassette players and record players and stuff. And that pretty much is the end of my cassette box. Yeah, that is all of the cassettes that are in the box, and I think all of the ones that I own. I have a couple of others, like off in storage, sort of, that are like not that interesting, that don't have cases and stuff, and honestly, I might just like get rid of at some point, because they're like old and not really worth anything. Anyway, thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the different camera setup with this older camcorder. And like I said, while I have all this stuff set up, I'll probably make a video quick about how I recorded this video. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in other stuff in the future, and bye-bye.